Hi, I'm Mark. I started at the Shark Trust in August 2022, and this is around the same time that we were forming Oceanic 31. And this came about because a research paper was published which identified 31 different species of oceanic sharks and rays, and found that over the last 50 years their populations had declined by 71%. Of these 31 species, 24 were threatened with extinction, so the Shark Trust knew they had to act. So they launched the Big Shark Pledge. From there, we wanted to raise public awareness and support for the Big Shark Pledge. So the Oceanic 31 exhibition was born. 2 years on from the first exhibition that was right here at Full Love of Sharks 2022, it has then travelled from Cornwall all the way to Scotland and then right back here in London for Full Love of Sharks 2024. We're now going to talk to some of the artists about how art can bring a new perspective to shark conservation.
Hi, I'm Rachel Brooks.
I'm Olivier Leger.
Oh, hi, my name's Mark. I'm ATM Street Art.
My name is Grace Marquez.
Hi, I'm Abigail Burt.
My name's Jo Polak.
So I've always had a really keen interest in the ocean and sharks in particular. So the opportunity to be part of an exhibition that was all about celebrating sharks and highlighting conservation issues that are impacting them was really a no-brainer for me.
Well, I know that sharks and rays are suffering terribly. They're in such critical decline, and it was just something that I really wanted to be part of. I thought it's a great idea to have an exhibition showing all these different species, travelling around the country. So yeah, I was really happy to be part of it.
It was a nice surprise to be asked. It was wonderful. I was really honored. I thought it was just such a brilliant idea in terms of connecting to a wider audience using art to inform people and kind of get people interested in or curious about these amazing species that in the water.
I chose to participate in the Oceanic 31 project because I really care about using art to help build awareness for our endangered species. I think art has a massive role to play in bringing more people into caring about our planet and knowing even sort of what's going on. So when Connor reached out to me and asked if I wanted to contribute a piece, yeah, it's absolutely in my line of interest. So I definitely said yes.
So I chose to do the basking shark, and I find a lot of people don't really know much about basking sharks or that we have them in the UK, and we still know so little about them. I really wanted to showcase a species that I've spent a lot of time working in the water with, but also something that's here in our home waters that we should be celebrating. This specific piece, I actually used one of my underwater videos as some reference material, and I use ink pens to add all the details and shading into that. And so I work in archival pigment inks. Most of my technique is called pointillism. It's using lots and lots of tiny dots to build into details. And I also added a little different element to it by trying to highlight the other marine animals and wildlife that we find here in British seas as well.
Well, I chose the oceanic white tip because it's a beautiful animal. It's got beautiful proportions and a fantastic shape. But also, when I was reading more about it, I was profoundly shocked by the fact that only about 50 years ago they were in abundance everywhere, and now 50 years later, they're critically endangered because of bycatch from trawler nets in such a short time, and it kind of symbolises the fate of so many animals. I did think of lots of different approaches to it. I thought I could kind of represent it in an underwater setting, even though it could be very beautiful. I wanted to kind of present something of the shock, so I thought a kind of blood red background. I thought that would be quite a powerful subliminal message.
I ended up going with the sickle fin devil ray. Did some drawings, did some sketches, because again, I wanted to capture some element that was truthful to its appearance. And then I just got to work. I really wanted to capture it in formation. So I did some sketches with different formations and then just started painting the layers on top of it. It just came together.
I chose the longhorned pygmy devil ray because, well, I think they're absolutely beautiful for a start. And when they swim through the water together in schools, they look incredible. And so I really like the idea of trying to capture the beauty of the school of them swimming all together into the ocean. To make this piece, I basically began by casting a block of plaster. So I set myself a sort of almost like a flat surface, like you would start with a canvas, but then used it to build up a low relief. So I carved into the surface using sculpting tools. In this case, they're actually dentist tools. So you sort of carve away at the surface and you create what looks like depth, but it's only a few millimeters tall. Then made a mold of that, poured a wax into that, ended up with a wax version, and then basically cast that in bronze. I wanted to use the art of patination, which is when you heat the metal and then use different chemicals to sort of colour the surface. I wanted to use that in quite a painterly way and capture the movement and the sort of atmospheric underwater colours of the rays in the ocean.
I was particularly seduced by the pelagic thresher shark, so that's where I kind of put my focus. And as an artist, I think you're often looking at that kind of connection with form and function and the kind of beauty and the sort of aesthetic quality of it. So it just seemed to sort of have all of that sort of so striking and yet so camouflaged. And so I was using the different fabrics to play around with how they're sort of, there's that sense of them being camouflaged, light from beneath and dark from above.
I painted a Atlantic devil ray carrying an ocean on her back. When you look closer, you see that the ray has swam into a fishing net. Atlantic devil ray are particularly vulnerable to bycatch in gill nets due to their tendency to school in large groups in coastal nearshore habitats. I hope that my painting can connect people with these beautiful animals, that they can see the threats they face, but also feel for themselves the entanglement of the ray in this painting.
Yeah, I think art is a really powerful communication tool, and especially for, showcasing something that we might not see every day as well, like an endangered animal or a lesser known species.
Art has that power to communicate in a single sort of image, or even if it doesn't communicate everything in that image, it brings people in close enough to then be able to have those important conversations.
Well, I just hope that this whole project can be kind of a template for other conservation initiatives as well, because I think it's a very good way of attracting a lot of people and making lots of events out of a particular focus, and it's a really good way to approach it.
The world we live in is phenomenal. It is absolutely magical, and there are lots of similarities and parallels in the magic that we see around us every day with nature and with the creatures that we share this planet with. And that is no different underwater.
I really hope people go away from the Oceanic 31 exhibition with a lasting impression of the diversity of sharks. And we've lost such a huge population of them in just the last 50 years. So I hope people really do take home that message. And for people to want to conserve something, they really have to have an interest in it first. And I hope this sparks an interest for people and into knowing more about sharks and understanding them. And I think that's the first step into loving something and wanting to protect it.